Hi, Tim McCabe, Block Island, Rhode Island, anciently known as N1. In 2008, I found a chalice buried on the beach, accompanied by a lance. It tells how to connect to the next world by smashing it to head. I said, this sounds like Polypheus, the ancient folktale legend of the Fisher King, the Grail. Then I found the painting that tells the story of the quest for the Holy Grail. I know everything that happened. They lost the Spear of Destiny here. Guinevere got whacked. That's why they had to hunt down all the knights when they got back over her fence. They had to eat her brain. They didn't know what they were getting into. It's the Fisher King. That's what the Grail is. The church went pagan. They're whacking head, eating brain. I can prove it. John Lennon was telling you this. And that's the secret to the Beatles music. Here's a picture of the Cardinals electing the next pope, dated 3/13/13, cover of the New York Times. Here you see the same picture upside down. And you know the guy on the bottom here with the nose, two eyes, cutoff face with the two eyes, nose. There's a guy coming out of his head who has a hole in his forehead with a blown out bloody hole with a rag, nose, his mouth's at the first guy's eye. He can see the guy between life and death drinking the Grail, what the guy who's facing the direction of death with the hole in the head is saying. That's the art religion of the Grail. They were telling you, some kind of Jewy do, lifting the veil, some call it magic, to search for the Grail. Here you have the austerity riots in Spain, right? And when you turn it upside down, you see it's the art religion of the Grail. The guy with the beard here, he's got the shiny thing off his nose when he looks over towards life, and it goes to the forehead of the guy where he can see how they fudge the painting. He's putting something in the mouth of the guy who connects to the nose, to the forehead too, and then he's reaching over this way, touching the nose, the evil monster with the third eye and the grimacing mouth. It's the art religion of the Grail. That's the New York Times, dated July 12, 2012. Page A6, the cover of the international section of the New York Times. They're putting devil worship in the newspapers, and that's what the Beatles were trying to tell you. The church went pagan, they're not with Christ. And John Lennon was a really good guy, and they didn't just kill him that night, but they ate his brain and took the journey of death with him. And these people who created the Grail and the connection to the afterlife, John knew what was going on, projecting our images in space and in time. The afterlife of a different time continuum. It goes on forever, instantly. And the church is communing with ancients running our world. And they saw it when they took the journey of death. And I found it. And as you see, John Lennon, as he was most famously known, was as a Beatle when he was a young man. Come on, flat top he got, you whack off top of the head, choo-choo eyeball he won, you eat from the left to center lobial part, holy roller he got. It's the church. They went pagan. 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. Add it up. Figure it out. Got to be good looking because it's so hard to see the sneaky art I just showed you. Look in the trees of the New York Times or other newspapers, and then look at the album cover of Mind Games. He's standing in a grassy field. It's the same art. He was showing you the art and telling you, and that's why they killed him. And these people saw it, and I found him. And you're looking at the story of John Lennon in an ancient painting from Block Island. His ghost in the afterlife, telling his life story. And here you see the Beatle guy, the Beatle fan that killed him. Right there, the two eyes, mouth, kind of looking fat with the body, and that's the head right there, the two eyes, mouth. And they continue the story with the head coming up out of the body with the nose and the eye and the mouth. And he's talking into the little hand right there with the finger of the comes out of the head of the military guy with the helmet and the shoulder pad with the nose and the mouth. He's talking into a little hand that comes out of the head of the military guy. You see the John Lennon guy with the two eyes, mouth, he has the tie, just like you just saw him, most famously known. His shiny suit comes right out of the Beatles. He was of the Beatles when he was a young man with the hair across the forehead, sideburns. And if you look at his mouth very sneakily, he was saying Christianity went pagan with a little black cross in his mouth. He was saying it's sneaky, it's sneaky. And then you see in life, he was a good guy with the white hand and his eye freaked out looking with the black in front of it, saw evil and was singing about it with the mouth. And then he died suddenly with the skull face and the mouth, nose, eyes, and he died. And what happened was a fat Beatle fan was put up by the military, talking to the hand that comes out ahead of him with a shoulder pad, to shoot him in the back with a handgun. Here you see the black death hand of the Beatle guy, which is the little black cross. Christianity went pagan, got him in the back. You see the John Lennon guys looking back with the mouth in the eye, the skull face, nose, and he's calling out, going, ah, like he got me in the back. And the Beetle guy's touching his back right there with the black, where he's going, ah, he got me in the back of the nose and the eye. The skull face looks back, going, he got me in the back. And then turn your head now. Turn your head hard to the right and look at the image and see how the Beetle guy with the eye and the nose is swinging his arm around and shooting the John Lennon guy with a pistol like from today with a finger on the trigger. And then you notice his elbow right here with a hand on the hip. He's in a stance. He went into a stance, a dueling stance. He went and the guy dropped into a stance and a firing stance and shot him in the back with a handgun, but the military put him up to it. And you see that the Beetle guy with the two eyes, right, looks over at John Lennon. And when the head comes up out of the body, he looks over at John Lennon with the two eyes, and you see he's wearing glasses where it comes off the side of his face with the nose. He's got the dorky looking mouth. He said the guy was a fat Beetle fan. He was a dork. He wore glasses. And when I was a Beetle with the tie and the suit, the hair across the forehead and the sideburn, I wore glasses too, but I kept them in my pocket. He's telling his life story. And now here's the story of Yoko with the mouth, nose, eye. And you see she's going, oh no, looking concerned, looking over with the mouth. She held the cup. Her hand, the good thing she was doing with the straw right there in the cup, and the guy with the black horns who's slurping out of the straw, drinking from the cup, and then looks over at John Lennon with the nose, eye, mouth going, ah, because his nose heard him saying, right, the nose to the mouth, you hear me, your nose, see me, the third eye. He heard he was saying Christianity went pagan. They drank from the grail to have him killed, and Yoko feels responsible. Her head comes up out of her body, continuing the story with the teeth and the nose and the eye, calling out with the hair, crying, facing the direction of life, going, I held the cup, feeling that she's responsible for what happened. And when you come around to the side a little more, you see the whole story of Yoko becomes a face of Yoko with the mouth and the nose and the eye. And it looks like she's wearing a headband. And I think John, was probably thinking back to this day right here when she was young and pretty and wore the headband. And they share mind, and they're like, what'd she look like? And he said, well, I think she looked like that. This is what she looked like. And he showed them. And they were thinking back to that day. And he showed them, and Yoko, you see her with the headband, and checkity like that. And it's her. And he's telling her to smile with a shiny smile, right? The tip of his hand, his white hand goes right to this white smile right there, shiny. And he's saying, smile, Yoko. Don't be sad. Don't blame yourself. It was a message of love from John Lennon to Yoko Ono that probably sat in the ground for 1,000 years, since the ancient world. If you notice the Beetle guy, his body, right, and he's got the Beetle head, and his body comes off like he's fat. It looks kind of spotty, like a Dottie, like a clown outfit. He thought he was a clown. He was like, he's a fat Beetle guy with a clown. And now you look over here, you notice the John Lennon guy with the mouth calling out, the nose and the eye, the skull face, looks over saying, he got me in the back. And he's talking into a hand right there that comes out of the mouth of this guy right here, the slick looking dude, wears a cowboy hat sometimes with the two eyes. And you see he has a hole at his forehead there. It's at the nose. You connect the nose to the forehead of the skull face John Lennon, and the hand coming out of his mouth he's talking into. So you notice he also has a little clown outfit on, like the Dottie outfit, and he's reaching over and touching. He is the hand of the military guy, and he talks into the hand that comes out of the head up. So they're saying this guy who ate his brain set up his murder, and he's a slick-looking dude, and wears a cowboy hat, but only sometimes. And I don't know. To me, it kind of looks like W, and I could see him in 1980, knowing he'd be president someday. His old man would have been the one to set up John Lennon's assassination. It kind of looks like W, I think. I don't know. Never know. Who knows? Maybe. Could have been. This is a really wild image. You got the ghost face of John Lennon smiling with the mouth, nose, a dead look in the eye, and he's looking back on life, thinking about when he had the nose, eye, the mustache, and the beard with the long hair. And there's Yoko huddled in with him with the two eyes, nose, mouth, laughing, happy. And there's Sean, the little one, and he's holding him, and he's thinking back about it, smiling, and then calling out sad with the mouth, nose, eyes. Dad, missing him, saying he misses him. It's unbelievable. It's just amazing. But now you know that this is Yoko and this is Sean as you continue the story and turn it a little more to the side. as you go to the life edge of the John Lennon rock, you see that it's me with the hat and the two eyes and the mouth looking over towards life, the eye, and I'm speaking into a hand that comes up out of a cup with the white cross in it. And you also see it as a guy with the shoulders, and there's the round of his head, and his nose, eye, and his mouth. He's slurping the nose, eye, slurping from the cup that the hand is coming out of that I speak into. And what happened was the church drank from the grail to take a hit out of me and Yoko. And there's Yoko right there, you know, looking over. Remember where Yoko was? In the mouth, laughing. And she's reaching over, wanting to touch that good thing I'm saying. I speak into the hand of Christ. I have the grail. There's a hand coming out of it that I speak into, and it's Christ. And here's John down here with the mouth and the eye. And the good thing I'm saying goes right through his eye to his nose. He heard it and saw it and was laughing, going, ah! Because what he saw was the church taking a hit out of me when they were watching my film that I sent to Yoko. And they were going to get me because they were like, what do we do about this guy? He found the grail. He found John's rock. He found everything. And they showed me in front of the Black Island Times in my film singing John's songs. And they were like, oh God, we got to kill this guy. And they want to crucify me. You see my head's on the white cross. They want to crucify me. The guy's drinking from the cup. And the only people with the cup now in the time of John Lennon is the church. And they want to crucify me because I'm saying Christianity went pagan and telling the world. And Sean down here, you see the story of Sean continue. And you see Sean, he looked like him today, with the mustache, the beard, talking into the little circle with the black cross, wanting to look over towards death and say Christianity went pagan, and looking towards life, angry, wanting to avenge his dad. Or you can see his, remember where we saw with the head, right? And his body, right? Like his arms, and he's wearing the ancient Christian outfit with the shield with the cross on it, and his hands going right over towards his dad's eye. He wants to, you know, touch this thing that I'm doing and be able to go off to battle and say Christianity went pagan. And his dad, if you look, his face is different now. You see the cross, look at that, you see the mouth of John going, no, and the nose and the eye looking back on life, going, no, Sean, don't do it. Don't do it. They'll get you, and warning him, you know, and he don't want anything bad to happen to him, you know, and it's just, it's amazing, the whole thing. But it's John Lennon. And you notice the way Yoko's reaching right over, she's touching the black cross right there at his eye. She wants to be able to see him. She's touching his eye. She wants to see the statue. And if you look right at his eye, you see the little black cross right at his eye, you know, where he saw, I was saying Christianity went pagan. And she's reaching over, all happy, wanting to touch it and see this thing and see John. And if you notice the white thing I'm saying, turn your head to the left towards life and see how it's the barrel of the gun and there's the handle of the gun, big old pistol pointed right at me, and Yoko's looking down the barrel of the pistol. And John, you can see his ghost face with the eyes going, no, don't do it, pushing the gun away. You know, he's pushing the gun away, saying, no, don't do it. On the death edge of the John Lennon rock is the evil laughing clown face of the fat clown face of Mark David Chapman with the nose and the eyes, and the evil laughing clown face. And on the backside, you have a really wild ghost image, just amazing. The last image ever of John Lennon playing guitar, facing the direction of life with the light of life in his eye, nose, mouth, in life with his hand coming over, with the fingers plucking at the strings. There's the designer light color back of the guitar with a hole in it, and there's the neck of the guitar with his fingers up and down the fret. John Lennon playing guitar, looking straight at you. That's what he saw him, between life and death, with a mouth, nose, two eyes, between life and death, singing. They saw him and they heard him 1,000 years ago, and they rocked out to John Lennon on Block Island anciently. Unbelievable. Last image ever of John Lennon playing guitar. When these people drank from the grail anciently and saw people, would say, what did you look like with a hat? And I think he said, oh, I wore a puffy hat like that with the puffy sideburns. And there it is, you know, like in Yellow Submarine, the cartoon face of John Lennon with the puffy sideburns, the brim of the hat, the puffy hat, the coat. I think he thought back to that day.